These days, Sebastian Vettel is known for picking up trash at races, speaking out for good causes, and being an all-around nice guy. It's easy to forget that he is a four-time world champion and used to give Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes a run for their money. What was his path to the top like, and what happened? Stay tuned as we track the rise and fall of Sebastian Vettel. First up, a young Sebastian, the Toro Rosso years. Sebastian Vettel started driving young, so it's no surprise that he achieved things young. He first started karting when he was 3 and began competing when he was 8. Red Bull already saw potential and sponsored Sebastian from the age of 11. By the time he was 16, he had won his first Formula BMW championship. He dominated that season with 18 out of 20 race wins. He was then quickly snapped up by BMW Sauber to be a test driver, and after Robert Kubica crashed at the 2007 Canadian Grand Prix, he was officially an F1 driver. At the age of 20, he then became the youngest driver to score points in F1. Red Bull had seen enough. Seb had proven himself, and so Red Bull promoted him to Toro Rosso, the Red Bull Junior team. Red Bull had purchased the team from Italian team Minardi in 2005 and rebranded it as Toro Rosso, which means Red Bull in Italian. It turned tens of millions of pounds of losses into profits. In the following years, the team benefited from the same chassis as Red Bull, a Ferrari-powered engine, and young superstar drivers like Seb. After a slow start, Vettel had a string of decent results before becoming the youngest driver to win a Formula One race at the 2008 Italian Grand Prix. This record has only been beaten by Max Verstappen, who also broke the record driving with Toro Rosso. Vettel's rivalry with Lewis Hamilton also started when he was still with Toro Rosso. At the last race of the 2007 season in Brazil, he raced hard against Hamilton and overtook him, which may have cost Hamilton the championship. Hamilton lost the title by 1 point that race to Kimi Räikkönen. Next, Red Bull timed to outshine Webber. Vettel's star was rising, and nothing could deny him a promotion to Red Bull, which he got the following season in 2009. When Red Bull driver David Coulthard announced his retirement in 2008, Vettel was the natural replacement for the following year. It was in 2009 that Red Bull's long-term investment in Vettel started to show real results. That year, he won in China, Britain, Japan, and Abu Dhabi. He had well and truly proven his right to be in a top team. In 2010, Vettel was partnered with Australian Mark Webber. They both had a competitive car capable of fighting for the championship. The two fought each other all season and ended up colliding with each other in Turkey. Team advisor Helmut Marko then defended Vettel. Then, at the German Grand Prix, Red Bull's newer and better performing front wing was taken off Webber's car to put on Vettel's. Webber later said that it was obvious that Sebastian was the favorite of the Red Bull team. But the internal politics of the team didn't seem to slow Sebastian down. He won 5 races that season. After winning the final race in Abu Dhabi, this was enough to secure him the 2010 Drivers' World Championship, becoming the youngest F1 champion of all time. Next up, champion of the world. Vettel was dubbed Baby Schumi in reference to his idol Michael Schumacher, and the road ahead looked promising. He was also being compared to F1 legend Ayrton Senna for his quick climb to the top. And in 2011, he lived up to these hopes, winning 6 of the first 8 races. Just halfway into the season, Lewis Hamilton said that the Red Bull car's pace was unstoppable and that Vettel had basically secured the Drivers' Championship. Seb broke the record for setting 15 pole positions that season and did win the title comfortably by 122 points. 2012 was more competitive between Vettel and Ferrari's Fernando Alonso, but Vettel managed to clinch the title in the final race by just 3 points. In 2013, Seb again totally dominated. He left his nearest competitor behind him in the dust, winning by 155 points over Fernando Alonso. This finished off an incredible 4 back-to-back world championships for Vettel. This has only been achieved by 3 other drivers: Juan Fangio, Michael Schumacher, and Lewis Hamilton. What went wrong while Sebastian was at Ferrari? And could Vettel make a return to Red Bull anytime soon? All of that is coming up, so don't go anywhere. Next, leaving the Red Bull for the Red Horse. In 2014, there were big changes in Formula One. It was the beginning of the hybrid era of engines. This meant that the engine changed from a 2.4-liter V8 to a 1.6-liter turbocharged V6 engine, part of a transition towards more eco-friendly technology. This was not good news for Red Bull, though, because Mercedes seemed to be much more prepared than they were. Mercedes drivers Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg dominated every race, finishing well ahead of the rest of the field. Sebastian finished all the way down in 5th in the Drivers' Championship, while his teammate Daniel Ricciardo outperformed him coming in 3rd. At the end of the year, Vettel decided to leave Red Bull to join Ferrari, hoping for greater luck at the prancing horses. He said that it was a childhood dream to drive for the iconic team. His decision proved to be a good one, and he was soon at the top again, competing with Mercedes again. That season, Vettel had 13 podiums, including winning 3 races. He was the closest driver to the 2 Mercedes drivers, but still some distance away from winning the championship. Lewis Hamilton had a nearly perfect season to win his 3rd world championship. but things still looked promising for Ferrari. They had proven that at their best, they could give Mercedes a run for their money. 2017 started off well, with Seb either winning or coming second in the first 6 races. The rivalry with Hamilton really heated up, and Seb was penalized for deliberately crashing into Hamilton after he felt that he was brake checked. But Seb's luck didn't get any better, and Hamilton's consistency eventually won him a 4th Drivers' Championship. Next up, trouble in paradise and a messy divorce. Why couldn't Seb finish any season the way he started? For his fans, it was torture to watch. He once again started the season strong in 2019, but Hamilton and Mercedes were just too good in the second half. The gap was over 80 points by the end of the season, and fans started criticizing Vettel for some of his mistakes. Vettel's biggest problem at Ferrari came in 2019 when a young gun from Monaco, Charles Leclerc, was signed to the team. Leclerc was tipped as a talented young driver that would be competitive with Vettel straight away. This proved to be true. Leclerc kept up with Sebastian for most of the season, outperforming him in 7 races. This also included 2 impressive race wins in his debut season. Leclerc seemed to have confidence in himself too. At the Singapore Grand Prix, Ferrari controversially called Leclerc into the pits, which effectively handed the race win to Vettel. The tension between the 2 drivers was rising, and Ferrari was struggling to control the battle between them. Vettel then crashed with Leclerc at the Brazilian Grand Prix, which took them both out of the race. At the end of the season, Leclerc beat Vettel, which proved to many that the future of Ferrari was with Leclerc. 2020 was a year to forget for Sebastian. His contract with Ferrari was not extended, and he finished a disappointing 13th place in the driver's standings. It was definitely time to say goodbye, and maybe Seb had overstayed his welcome. Now we have joining the midfield. With his place at Ferrari lost, it looked like it might be time for Seb to hang up the boots. He had a pretty good career and was a 4-time world champion, but he wasn't done just yet. Vettel has admitted that he seriously considered retiring, but instead joined Aston Martin for the 2021 season alongside Lance Stroll. But this was a big change for Seb. He had gone from winning world championships at Red Bull to fighting for race wins at Ferrari, and now he was part of a team that prayed for a podium. He struggled to score many points, but miraculously gave Aston Martin their best result of the season by finishing second at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And this is the Seb we all know today. He is always funny, kind, and gracious, but his championship-winning days feel long gone. What does his future in the sport hold? Could Aston Martin have future success? Sebastian used to battle with Lewis Hamilton for the World Championship. Aston Martin's new team boss, Mike Crack, is confident that they have what is needed to be successful. The team used to be Racing Point before it was rebranded as Aston Martin by Canadian billionaire owner Lance Stroll. Racing Point did have some success in the 2019 and 2020 seasons while using Mercedes power units. They finished a respectable 4th place in the 2020 Constructors' Championship. With the deep pockets of Lawrence Stroll, a new Mercedes engine, and a 4-time world champion Sebastian Vettel, they could be able to take advantage of the 2022 regulation changes and come out more competitive. Seb will certainly be hoping so. Aston Martin have said that they need to convince Vettel that the future of the team gives him a chance to succeed in the sport, but it would take a mighty change to upset Mercedes or Red Bull. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.